Saranaya Karunya Khana Khana Tvam Praptasya Kalana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Mahaprabhu Kirtanaritya Gita Vaditra Madhyam Manasora Sena Romantyakam Pashutaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Shivikrahara Dhananitya Nana Shringara Tamantira Marjanado Mantira Marjana Yutasya Bhaktam Chanyanjatopi Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Yutasya Bhaktam Chanyanjatopi Chaturvidashi Bhagavat Prasada Swadharna Tripta Hari Bhakta Sangha Kriteva Triptim Bhajatassadaiva Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Shiradhika Mahatava Yorapara Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Nam Nam Pratishana Svatana Lolupasya Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Nikunja Yuno Radikedi Sitai Yayadi Pe Yuktira Pesaniya Tatrati Dakshat Ativallabhasya Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Sashathari Tena Samasta Shastre Utasthatha Bhaviteva Sattvihi Kintu Prapoya Priyeva Tassa Vande Guru Shi Charanarvindam Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado Yasya prasadam nakati kutopi Dhyayanstu Vamstasya Yashasti Santhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nilamada Radha Nilamada Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Nilamada Radha Nilamada Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nittai Gaura Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo, Nittai Gaura Hari Bolo. Jai Om Shinu Pada Brahmam Sapradaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Abhara Chana Vrinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON PBTPI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Brahmam Sapradaka Acharya Ashtota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Samavirta Bhaktivinda Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai, Nittai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadayini. Hiranyakashi Purvashaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Yeto yeto yamitato Narasimha. Bahir Narasimho Hrudaye Narasimho. Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Advuta Shingam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय
देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो हे अभिलाषी जे तुम्हारा शरण लो तारा वंश पूर्ण हो कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावनवासी मोरा ये अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हरि बो सदा जुगल रूप राशि ये निवेदन धारो सखीरनुगाता कोरो सेवाधिकारा दिए कोरो निज दासी दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा होय दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा होय श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्राणशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्राणशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवे सत्यवताय नमो नमः। श्री वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवे सत्यवताय नमो नमः। श्री वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सत्य कृष्ण भक्ति प्रति देवे सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
I beg you to make me a follower, Kara Danso's virgin. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna prays. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the matter of chanting holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their life propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods allow Shiva or Brahma to be equal to the independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or to pursue the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glorious chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities and strength to chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments even after standing so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense of inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses. In order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna, Prema. Now let us offer most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are desires who can fulfill to everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto darpana marjanam pavamaha davakni nirvapanam Shriya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavatu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purunamida swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis Tatra pita niyamita smaranena kalaha Etatishi dava kripa bhagavam mahapi Durudevami desham iha janinanuragaha Trinatapi sunijena tarorapi sahishnuna Amanina manatena kirtaniya sadaharihi Na thanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye Mama Jammani Jammanishvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Tavai Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satisham Vichintaya Nayanam Kaladashurudaraya Vadanam Kadgada Rudaya Gira Pulaka Nichitam Vapurkada Tava Nama Krahane Bhavishati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam Shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me Ashirishava padratam pinnashtumam Atarshanam marmahatam karotuva Yatha tatha va vitatha lampato Matprana nathastu sa eva na paraha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinctions fire of conditional life, a repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is presentation for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of Bhakti moon. It is the life of all transcendent knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendent bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which always anxious. Oh, my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction to human beings. Thus, you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, our kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Marananda Krishna, I'm an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one to add them to your lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes spectacular tears of love flowing constant when I chant the holy name, while my voice choke up and hurts my body, stand and the recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling of separation, I'm constant moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything, everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Aarti prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Omritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Raghunatang Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhang Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Desha Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daidaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Chala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupanuga Virudapha Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sasha Vairagya Murtaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirtishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarabhama Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarupishcha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patidanam Pavne Pyo Vaishnave Pyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurateshe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinapanto Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Srator Pangor Mama Manda Materkati Masarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindadanya Kalpadumada Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shimadratha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtari Bi Sevyamano Samarami Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastidha Karasham Venu Suner Gopir Gopinatha Shiyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dhatara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Mangalacharna Prayers Ki Jai Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadyaradya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Jinta Mani Parakara Satmasuka Paviksha Lakshaviteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Brahmasevyamanam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venong Kavanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chantakalasa Vanamare Vamshi Ranankadam Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shamam Tipanga Lalitam Nyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chimma Satu Jala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achotam Anadi Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durabam Madurabam Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Shatavassara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Munipangavaanam Sopyasti Yaprapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Sorachayitum Jagatanta Kotim Ya Shakti Rasti Jagatanta Jaya Dantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Bhavitadiyo Manujastateva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Yana Pushaha Suktayam Eva Nikama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananta Chimma Rasa Padibhavitapis Tapeya Evan Jarupa Dayakalapihi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatama Bhutto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hidayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundam Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalanya Mena Tishtan Nanavatara Makaro Bhuvanishu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Parama Pumamyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, he has an eternal bliss for spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adapting playing on the flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and the unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with a moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shama Sundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas, by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha resembling his own spiritual figure. The embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidant Sakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shama Sundara Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna in the different avatars in the world, the forms of Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, etc., as a subjective portion.
Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तः हितो हि अभद्राणि विद्नोति सुहृत्सतं नष्टप्रयेष्व अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी तदा राजास्तमो भावा कामा लोभादयाश्च ये चेत एतैरनाविदं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गश्च जायते विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसमस्याः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे.
To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished.
When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsayam, samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita 1. Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees, Krishna consciousness, can one understand the science of Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We will continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 27. Sitata patra vyajanair upakshritah prashuna varshair abhivarshita pati pisanga vasa vana malaya bhabau ghano yathar kadupa chapa vaidyudhai. Sita atapatra, white umbrella, vyajanai, with a chamara fan. Upakshrita, being served by prasuna, flowers, varshai, by the showers. Abhivarshita, thus being covered, pati, on the road. Pisangavasha, by the yellow garments. Vana malaya, by the flower garlands. Babhau, thus it became. Ghana, cloud, yatha, as if. Arka, the sun. Udupa, the moon. Chapa, the rainbow. Vaidyuthai, by the lightning. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. Where there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant, and if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to the sun. The movement of the bunch hair fan of flukes is compared to the moon. The showers of flowers are compared to the stars. His yellow garments are compared to the rainbow. So all these activities of the firmament, being impossible simultaneous factors, cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all powerful, and in his presence anything impossible can be made possible by his inconceivable energy. But the situation created at the time of his passing on the roads of Dwarka was beautiful and could not be compared to anything besides the description of natural phenomena.
Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 28. Pravishtas tu gruham pitro parikshvataha swa matribihi vavande shirasa sapta devaki pramukha muda. Pravishta, after entering, tu, but, graham, houses, pitro, of the father, parishvaktah, embraced, swa matribihi, by his own mothers, pavande, offered obeisances, shirasa, his head, sapta, 7, devaki, pramukha, headed by, mudha, gladly. Translation: After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears that Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters where he lived with his 8 wives, out of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him, as will be evident from the following verse. Lord Krishna also did not distinguish his real mother from his stepmothers, and he equally offered his obeisances unto all the wives of Vasudeva presently on the occasion. According to scriptures also, there are 7 mothers. The real mother, 1. 2. The wife of the spiritual master. 3. The wife of the Brahmana. 4. A wife of the king. 5. The cow. 6. The nurse. And 7. The earth. All of them are mothers. Even by this injunction of the Shastras, the stepmother, who is the wife of the father, is also as good as the mother, because the father is also one of the spiritual masters. Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, plays the part of an ideal son just to teach others how to treat their stepmothers.
Taputram ankam aropya snehasnuta payodara harsha vihvalitarmana sisikur netra jay jalai. All of them, Putram, the son, Ankam, the lap, Aropya, having placed on, Sneha, Snuta, moistened by affection, Bayodara, breast filled up, Harsha, doubt, delight, Vivalita, Atmana, overwhelmed by Sisi Chu, wet, Netra Jai, from the eyes, Jalai water.
Translation: The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord. Purport: When Lord Krishna was at Vrindavana, even the cows would become moistened by affection towards him, and he could draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. So what to speak of the stepmothers who were already as good as his own mother?
Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 30. Ata vishat swabhavanam sarvakama anuttamam prasadayatra patninam sahasrani cha sodasha. Ata, thereafter, Avishat entered Swabhavanam, personal places, Sarva, all, Kamam, desires, Anuttamam, perfect to the fullest extent, Prasadaha, palaces, Yatra, where, Patrinam, of the wives numbering, Sahasrani, thousands, Cha, over and above, Shodasha, 16. Translation: Thereafter the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Krishna had 16,108 wives, and for each and every one of them there was a fully equipped palace, complete with necessary compounds
and gardens. Full description of these palaces is given in the 10th canto. All the palaces were made of the best marble stone. They were illuminated by jewels and decorated by curtains and carpets of velvet and silk, nicely bedecked and embroidered with gold lace. The personality of Godhead means one who is full with all power, all energy, all opulences, all beauties, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Therefore, in the palaces of the Lord, there was nothing wanting for fulfilling all desires of the Lord. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited. And the supply is also unlimited. Everything being unlimited, it is concisely described here as Sarvakamam, or full with all desirable equipment.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 31. Pantya patim prokshya grahanupagatam vilokya sanjata mano mahotsavaha uttastur arat sahasana sakam vrater vridita lochananaha. Patnyaha, the ladies, wives of Lord Sri Krishna, Patim, husband, Prosha, who was away from home, Gruha Anupagatam, now returned home, Vilokya, thus seeing, Sanjata, having developed, Mana Maha Utsavaha, a sense of joyful ceremony within the mind. Uttastuhu, got up, Arat, from a distance, Sahasa, all of a sudden, Asana, from the seats, Asayat, from the state of meditation, Sakam, along with Vrathai, the vow, Vridita, looking, Koli, Lochana, eyes, Anana, with such faces. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The queens of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from the seats and meditations, as was socially customary. They covered their faces shyly and looked about Koli. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As mentioned above, the Lord entered his home palaces occupied by 16,108 queens. This means that the Lord at once expanded himself in as many plenary expansions as there were queens, and palaces centered in each and every one of them simultaneously and separately. Here is another manifestation of the feature of his internal potency. He can expand himself in as many forms of spiritual identity as he desires. Even though he is one without a second, it is confirmed that by the Shruti mantra that the Absolute is one alone, and yet he becomes many as soon as he so desires. These manifold expansions of the Supreme Lord are manifested as plenary and separated portions. The separated portions are representations of his energy, and the plenary portions are manifestations of his personality. Thus, the personality of Godhead manifested himself in 16,108 plenary expansions and simultaneously entered into each and every one of the palaces of the queens. This is called Vaibhava, or the transcendental potency of the Lord, and because he can do so, he is also known as Yogeshwara. Ordinarily, a yogi or mystic living being is able to expand himself at most to tenfold expansions of his body, but the Lord can do so to the extent of as many thousands or infinitely as he likes. Unbelievers become astonished to learn that Lord Krishna married more than 16,000 queens, because they think of Lord Krishna as one of them and measure the potency of the Lord by their own limited potency. One should know, therefore, that the Lord is never on the level of the living beings, who are but expansions of his marginal potency, and one should never equalize the potent and the potency, although there is very little difference of quality between the potent and the potency. The queens are also expansions of his internal potency, and thus the potent and the potencies are perpetually exchanging transcendental pleasures known as pastimes of the Lord. One should not therefore become astonished to learn that the Lord married so many wives. On the contrary, one should affirm that even if the Lord marries 16,000 million wives, he is not completely manifesting his unlimited and inexhaustible potency. He married only 16,000 wives and entered in each and every one of them, one of the different palaces, just to impress in the history of the human beings on the surface of the earth that the Lord is never equal to or less than any human being, however powerful he may be, No one, therefore, is either equal to or greater than the Lord. The Lord is always great in all respects. God is great, is eternal truth. Therefore, as soon as the queens saw from a distance their husband, who was away from home for long periods due to the battle of Kurukshetra, they all arose from the slumber of meditation and prepared to receive their most beloved. According to Yajnavalkya's religious injunctions, a woman whose husband is away from home should not take part in any social functions, should not decorate her body, should not laugh, and should not go to any relative's house in any circumstance. This is the vow of the ladies whose husbands are away from home. At the same time, it is also enjoined that a wife should never present herself before the husband in an unclean state. She must decorate herself with ornaments and good dress and should always be present before the husband in a happy and joyous mood. The queens of Lord Krishna were all in meditation, thinking of the Lord's absence, and were always meditating upon him. The Lord's devotees cannot live for a moment without meditating on the Lord. And what to speak of the queens, who were all goddesses of fortune incarnated as queens in the pastimes of the Lord at Dwarka. They can never be separated from the Lord, either by presence or by trance. The gopis at Vrindavana could not forget the Lord when the Lord was away in the forest cowherding. When the Lord boy Krishna was absent from the village, the gopis at home used to worry about him traversing the rough ground with his soft lotus feet. By thinking thus, they were sometimes overwhelmed in trance and mortified in the heart. Such is the condition of the pure associate of the Lord. They are always in trance, and so the queens also were in trance during the absence of the Lord. Presently, having seen the Lord from a distance, they at once gave up all their engagements, including the vows of women as described above. According to Vishnu the Chakravarti Thakura, there was a regular psychological reaction on the occasion. First of all, rising from their seats, although they wanted to see their husband. They were deterred because of feminine shyness, but due to strong ecstasy, they overcame that stage of weakness and became caught up with the idea of embracing the Lord. And this thought factually made them unconscious of their surrounding environment. They, prime state of ecstasy, annihilated all their formalities and social conventions, and thus they escaped all stumbling blocks on the path of meeting the Lord. And that is a perfect stage of meeting the Lord of the soul, Sri Krishna.
Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 32. Tam atmajay drishti antaratmana duranta bhava parirebire patim niruddhamapi ashravad ambunitrayo vilajjatinam bhruguvarya vaiklavat. Tam, him the Lord, Atmajay by the sons, Drishtibi by the sight, Antaratmana by the innermost part of the heart, Duranta Bhava, inseparable ecstasy, Parire bire, embraced, Patim, husband, Niruddham, choked up, Api, in spite of, Ashravat, tears, Ambu, like drops of water, Netrayo, from the eyes, Vilajatinam, of those situated in shyness, Bhruguvarya, O chief of the Bhrugus, Vaiklavat, inadvertently. Translation: the inseparable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief amongst the Bhrugus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although due to feminine shyness, there were many hindrances to embracing the dear husband, Lord Sri Krishna. The queens performed that act by seeing him, by putting him in the cores of their hearts, and by sending their sons to embrace him. Still, the act remained unfinished, and tears rolled down their cheeks despite all endeavors to check them. One indirectly embraces the husband by sending the son to embrace him, because the son is developed as part of the mother's body. The embrace of the son is not exactly the embrace of husband and wife from the sexual point of view, but this embrace is satisfaction from the affectionate point of view. The embrace of the eyes is more effective in the conjugal relation, and thus, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, there is nothing wrong in such an exchange of feeling between husband and wife.
यद्यपि असौ पर्वस् यद्यपि असौ पर्व स्वगतोरहो गतस् तथापि तस्याङ्घ्रि युगं नवं नवम् पदे पदे का विरमेत तत् पदच् कलापि यच् चिरीर्न जहति कर्हिचित्
Yadi, although, api, certainly, asau, he, Lord Sri Krishna, parsvagataha, just by the side, rahagataha, exclusively alone, tadapi, still, tasya, his, angri yugam, the feet of the Lord, navam navam, newer and newer, pade, step, pade, in every step, kha, who, virameta, can be detached from, tatpadat, from his feet, chalapi, moving, yet whom, Shri, the goddess of fortune, now never, jahati, quits, karhichit, at any time.
Translation. Although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides, as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them? Purport. Conditioned living beings are always after the favor of the goddess of fortune, although by nature she is moving from one place to another. In the material world, no one is permanently fortunate, however clever one may be. There have been so many big empires in different parts of the world. There have been so many powerful kings all over the world, and there have been so many fortunate men. But all of them have been liquidated gradually. This is the law of material nature, but spiritually it is different. According to the Brahma Samhita, the Lord is served very respectfully by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. They are always in a lonely place also with the Lord. But still the association of the Lord is so inspiringly newer and newer that they cannot quit the Lord for a moment, even though they are by nature very restless and are moving about. The spiritual relation with the Lord is so enlivening and resourceful that no one can leave the company of the Lord once having taken shelter of him. The living beings are by constitution feminine by nature. Okay. The male or enjoyer is the Lord, and all manifestations of his different
potencies are feminine by nature.
I knew it said that somewhere in the Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita, the living beings are designated as Paraprakriti, or the superior potency. The material elements are Apara Prakriti, of the inferior potency. Such potencies are always employed for the satisfaction of the employer or the enjoyer. The supreme enjoyer is the Lord Himself, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29. The potencies, therefore, when engaged directly in the service of the Lord, revive the natural color. And thus there is no disparity in the relation of the potent and potency. Generally, people engaged in service are always seeking some post under the government of the supreme enjoyer of the state. Since this Lord is the supreme enjoyer of everything in or outside the universe, it is happiness to be employed by Him. Once engaged in the supreme governmental service of the Lord, no living being wishes to be relieved from the engagement. The highest perfection of human life is to seek some employment under the Lord's supreme service. That will make one extremely happy. One need not seek the moving goddess of fortune without the relation of the Lord. Evam nipanam, text 34. Evam nipanam kshiti bara banmanam aso he nibi akshaunibihi bravita tejasam vidya vairam svazano yatanalam mito vadena parato nirayudaha.
Evam thus, Nrupanam, of the kings and administrators, Kshiti Bhara, the burden of the earth, Janmanam, born in that way, Akshauhinibi, empowered by a military strength of the horses, elephant, chariots, and infantry, Parivritta, being puffed up by such surroundings, Tejasam, prowess, Vidaya, having created, Vairam, hostility, Swashanaha, interaction of the wind and the pipe plants, Yada, as it is, Analam, fire, Mitaha, with one another. By killing them, Uparataha, relieved, Nirayada, by himself without being a party to such fightings. Translation: the Lord was pacified after killing those kings who were burdensome to the earth. The Lord was pacified after killing those kings who were burdensome to the earth. They were puffed up with military strength. Their horses, they're puffed up with their military strength. Their horses, elephants, chariots, infantry, etc. He himself was not a party in the fight. He simply created hostility between the powerful administrators, and they fought amongst themselves. He was like the wind which causes friction between the bamboos and so sparks a fire. Purport.
As stated above, the living beings are not factual enjoyers of things which are manifested as God creation. The Lord is the genuine proprietor and enjoyer of the things manifested.
Enjoyer of everything.
Oh, enjoyer of everything manifested in His
Slow down. Creation.
creation.
Unfortunately
Unfortunately influenced by the diluting energy, the living beings become the false enjoyer under the dictation of the modes of nature, puffed
puffed up by such a false sense of becoming God, the deluded living being increases his material strength by so many activities and thus becomes the burden of the earth, so much so that the earth becomes completely uninhabitable by the sane. This state of affairs is called dharmasya glani, or misuse of the energy of human being. When such misuse of human energy is prominent, the saner living beings become perturbed by the awkward situation created by the vicious administrators, who are simply burdens of the earth, and the Lord appears by his internal potency just to save the saner section of humanity and to alleviate the burden due to the earthly administrators in different parts of the world. He does not favor either of the unwanted administrator, but by his potential power. If you don't go back and sit in the chair back, you lose all points. 0. Your choice. Go back, sit in the chair until you come down. 5, 4. Back. You are being distracted. Move. You're stopping us. Go back. You lose all points. 0. Creates, but by his potential power, he creates hostility between such unwanted administrators, as the air creates fire in the forest by the friction of the bamboos. The fire in the forest takes place automatically by the force of the air, and similarly, the hostility between the different groups of politicians takes place by the unseen design of the Lord. The unwanted administrators, puffed up by false power and military strength, thus become engaged in fighting amongst themselves over ideological conflicts, and so exhaust themselves of all powers. The history of the world reflects this factual will of the Lord, and it will continue to be enacted until the living beings are attached to the service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, this fact is very vividly described. Bhagavad Gita 7.14, it is said, the deluding energy is my potency, and thus it is not possible for the dependent living beings to supersede the strength of the material modes. But those who take shelter in me, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, can cross over the gigantic ocean of material energy. This means that no one can establish peace and prosperity in the world by fruitive activities or by speculative philosophy or ideology. The only way is to surrender unto the Supreme Lord and thus become free from the illusion of the deluding energy. Unfortunately, persons who are engaged in destructive work are unable to surrender to the personality of Godhead. They are all fools of the first order. They are the lowest of the human species of life. They are robbed of their knowledge, although apparently they seem to be academically educated. They are all of the demoniac mentality and always challenging the supreme power of the Lord. Those who are very materialistic, always hankering after the material power and strength, are undoubtedly fools of the first order because they have no information of the living energy. And being ignorant of that supreme spiritual science, they are absorbed in material science, which ends with the end of the material body. They are the lowest of human beings because the human life is especially meant for re establishing the lost relation with the Lord, and they miss this opportunity by being engaged in material activities. They are robbed of their knowledge because even after prolonged speculation, they cannot reach to the stage of knowing the personality of Godhead, the summum bonum of everything. And all of them are men of demoniac principle, and they suffer the consequences, as did such materialistic heroes as Ravana, Hiranyakasipu, Kamsa, and others.
Sa Sa Esa Nara Narala Nara Nare Nara Le Leke De Liki Sa Esha Naralokesmin Avati Tirnaha Svamayaya Rema Stri Ratna Kutashto Bhagavan Prakrito Yata.
Sa, he, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Esha, all these. Naraloke, on this planet of human beings. Asmin, on this. Avardina, having appeared. Swa, personal, internal. Mayaya, causeless mercy. Reme, enjoyed. Sri Ratna, woman who is competent to become a wife of the Lord. Kutastha, among. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Prakruta, mundane. Yada, as if it were.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on this planet by his eternal potency and enjoyed himself amongst competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs. Purport. The Lord married and lived like a householder. This is certainly like a mundane affair. But when we learn that he married 16,108 wives and lived with them separately in each and every palace, certainly it is not mundane. Therefore, the Lord living like Therefore, the Lord, living as a householder amongst his competent wives, is never mundane. In his behavior with them is never to be understood as mundane sex relation. The women who became the wives of the Lord are certainly not ordinary women, because to get the Lord as one's husband is the result of many, many millions of births. Tapasya means austerity. When the Lord appears on different lokas or planets, or on this planet or human beings, he displays his transcendental pastimes just to attract the conditioned souls to become his eternal servitors, friends, parents, and lovers, respectively, in the transcendental world, where the Lord eternally reciprocates such exchanges of service. Service is pervertedly represented in the material world and broken untimely, resulting in sad experience. The illusioned living being, conditioned by material nature, cannot understand out of ignorance that all our relations here in the mundane world are temporary and full of inebrities. Such relation cannot help us by happy perpetually. But if the same relation is established with the Lord, then we are transferred to the transcendental world after leaving this material body and become eternally related with him in the relation we desire. The women amongst whom he lived as their husband are not, therefore, women of this mundane world, but are eternally related with him as transcendental wives, a position which they attained by perfection of devotional service. That is their competency. The Lord is Param Brahma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Conditioned souls seek after perpetual happiness in all places, not only on this earth, but also on other planets throughout the universe, because constitutionally a spiritual spark as he is can travel to any part of God's creation. But being conditioned by the material modes, he tries to travel in space by spacecraft and so fails to reach his destination. The law of gravitation is blinding upon him like the shackles of a prisoner. By other processes, he can reach anywhere, but even if he reaches the highest planet, he cannot attain that perpetual happiness for which he is searching life after life. When he comes to his senses, however, he seeks after Brahman happiness, knowing it is for certain that unlimited happiness which he is seeking is never attainable in the material world. As such, the Supreme Being, Param Brahman, certainly does not seek his happiness anywhere in the material world, nor can his paraphernalia of happiness be found in the material world. He is not impersonal, because he is the leader and supreme being amongst numerous living beings. He cannot be impersonal. He is exactly like us, and he has all the propensities of an individual living being in fullness. He marries exactly like us, but his marriage is neither mundane or limited by our experience in the conditioned state. His wives therefore appear like the mundane women, but factually they are all transcendental liberated souls, perfect manifestations of internal energy.
Why do you have to punch me, huh? That would be my arm.
But why did you do that?
You punched me and now
Why did I do that?
I have no idea.
You are reading like this. It's not correct.
Please cover the mic.
Uddamabhava Pishunamalavaguhasha Udavaloka Nihato Madano Piyasham Sammuhya Chapam Ajahat Pramadottamasta Yashendriyam Vimatitam Guhakairnasekuhu. Uddama, very grave. Bhava, expression. Pisuna, exciting. Amala, spotless. Valguhasa, beautiful smiling. Vrida, corner of the eye. Avaloka, looking. Nihataha, conquered. Madanaha, Cupid. Or Amadana, the greatly tolerant Shiva. Api also. Yasam, ooze. Sammuhya, being overpowered by. Chapam, bows. Ajahat, gave up. Pramada, woman who maddens. Uttamaha, of high grade. Ta, all. Yasya, whose. Indriyam, senses. Imati, tam, to perturb. Kuhakai, by magical feats. Na, never. Seko, was able. Translation. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attraction, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Purport. Normally. Only if you read normally.
The path of solution or
Salvation. Come closer. The path of salvation.
the path of
Salvation.
or the path going back to God forbids forbids the association of women and the capital complete Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma scheme for demands or restricts association with women. How then can more one be accepted as the supreme personality of God, who is addicted to more than 60,000 waves. Though this quietly may be repeatedly raised by the inquisitive person really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, and to answer such questions, the sages at Naimissaria verse have discussed the transcendental character of the Lord in this, and in following verse it is clear here that the feminine attractive features which can conquer Cupid or even the supermost tolerant and Lord Shiva could not conquer the senses of the Lord.
That's it. Okay, I'll read the rest. Cupid's business is to invoke mundane lust. The whole universe is moving, being agitated by Cupid's arrows. The activities of the Lord are being carried on by the central attraction of male and female. A male is searching after a mate to his liking, and the female is looking after a suitable male. That is the way of material stimulus. And as soon as a male is combined with a female, the material bondage of the living being is at once tightly interlocked by sex relation. And as a result of this, both the male's and female's attraction for sweet home, motherland, bodily offspring, society, and friendship, and accumulation of wealth becomes the illusory field of activities, and thus a false but indefatigable attraction for the temporary material existence, which is full of miseries, is manifest. Those who are therefore on the path of salvation for going back to home, back to Godhead, are especially advised by all scriptural instruction to become free from such paraphernalia of material attraction. And that is possible only by the association of the devotees of the Lord, who are called the Mahatmas. Cupid throws his arrows upon the living beings to make them mad after the opposite sex, whether the party is actually beautiful or not. Cupid's provocations are going on even amongst beastly societies who are all ugly looking in the estimation of the civilized nations. Thus, Cupid's influence is exerted even amongst the ugliest forms. And what to speak of the most perfect beauties? Lord Shiva, who is considered to be the most tolerant, was also struck by Cupid's arrow because he also became mad after the Mohini incarnation of the Lord and acknowledged himself to be defeated. Cupid, however, was himself captivated by the grave and exciting dealings of the goddess of fortune, and he voluntarily gave up his bow and arrow in a spirit of frustration. Such was the beauty and attraction of the queens of Lord Krishna, yet they could not disturb the transcendental senses of the Lord. This is because the Lord is all perfect, Atmarahama, or self-sufficient. He does not require anyone's extraneous help for his personal satisfaction. Therefore, the queens could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service. Only by unalloyed, transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord, and the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation. Thus, being satisfied by their unalloyed service only, the Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming the husband of so many wives. He is the husband of everyone. But to one who accepts him as such, he reciprocates. This unalloyed affection for the Lord is never to be compared to mundane lust. It is purely transcendental. And the grave dealings which the queens displayed in natural feminine ways were also transcendental because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. It is already explained in the previous verse that the Lord appeared like a mundane husband, but factually his relation with his wives was transcendental, pure, and unconditioned by the modes of material nature. Today we read up to Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 36. We will continue reading tomorrow. Srimad Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
mridanga too.
No, you're not touching mridanga.
By the way, I can't even reach the mridanga.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare Ramo.
Ram Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma, Mandamui Savadana Mate, Mandamui Savadana Mate, Jehara Prasade Bai, Pravatoriya Jai, Prasade Bai, ये बाबा तोरिया जय कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहाँ होते कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहाँ होते गुरुमुख पद्मावाक्यम चिते ते कोरिया क्या गुरुमुख पद्मावाक्या चिते ते कोरिया क्या अरना कोरी हो मानी आशा अरना कोरी हो मानी आशा श्री गुरु तेरानी रति ऐसे उत्तमागति श्री गुरु तेरानी रति ऐसे उत्तमागति जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होती विद्या विनाशा जाते प्रेमा भक्ति वेदे गाय जहरा चरितो वेदे गाय श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदा माजे नारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदा माजे नारा लोकेना लोकेरा जीवाना लोकेना लोकेरा जीवा प्रभु कुरो दोया देहा मोरे पादा चाया अचाया ए बीजा गुसुक त्रिभुवाना गुसुक त्रिभुवाना शील प्रभुपाद पतित पावाना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गणधर शिवसदि Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nityai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura, Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura, Hari Bol. By His grace, one can cross the ocean between suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from His lotus mouth. Attachment to His lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From Him, ecstatic prema emanates. By Him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of His character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and Master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.